So that's what the ND filter on. We definitely want to put an ND filter on top of that anamorphic lens. But it doesn't work. I got one full week, and then I've got the next week, and vacation starts on Friday that week. Vacation starts Friday after next week. Does any of that make sense? Somewhere in this pocket, there's something that I'm looking for that doesn't want to be found. Today I got my Medicare card in the mail. Welcome to Medicare. Important decisions. I gotta get my supplemental plan. If you don't sign up for Part B continued coverage with your employer, you may be able to sign up for Part B later without a late enrollment penalty. All I need to know right now is that I'm going to call them on Monday. And get this straightened out, get it figured out, know when I have to pick up Part B. I have suspenders. This is the first time in my life that I've worn suspenders. I'm 68, almost 69. I'm gonna look at this here little book on photographing the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon. No, it's the Grand Canyon. Okay, what do we got to split up here? We got North Rim, South Rim. Actually, we got South Rim, North Rim. I noticed on my images that I took 2 years ago out there, I used my Sony a7R III DSLR with a Sony G28-105 lens. That's good glass. And those are some fine pictures. Man, the detail. It's beautiful detail. Wow. Most of them I shot at f/14. Apparently, I decided that was a good f-stop for that lens, but it depends on what focal length you're shooting at. There's a prime f-stop for each focal length for the best clarity and detail. At some lenses, let's say a 50mm prime, maybe your peak f-stop, I'm not talking about the smallest, I'm talking about the best, might be f11. The point is that there's the best f-stop to use on each lens. And you got to get to know your lenses, find out what that f-stop is. But if you got to zoom, well, that complicates things. Now you got a range of focal lengths, and you're going to have to figure out what's the best f-stop at different focal lengths. Find out, yep, at 28, let's say 35, let's say 55, and maybe 80, and then 105. Because in landscape photography, my main concern is getting the right f-stop for the best detail, sharpness, and the least distortion. And then you can adjust the rest. You can adjust your ISO, you can adjust your shutter speed. And I like the way this is laid out because they have the different rims, and then they have the different times of the day, sunrise, sunset. What's the best places to be at those times of the day? So it's sunset on the south rim, Mather Point, Hopi Point, Mojave Point, Yaqui Point, Lippin Point, Navajo Point, Desert View. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different points. Well, now, you're not going to get to all 7 points in one sunset at the end of one day. So you're going to have to choose which ones you want the most. I will have 1, 2, 3, 4 sunsets. Sunrises, I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 sunsets and 4 sunrises that I can plan shooting around. I'll have the same thing at the North Rim. That's the plan. It's the plan to see the Grand Canyon to a much greater degree than I did 2 years ago. So I would have had sunset 1, 2, 3 sunsets. Yep, and 3 sunrises. That's at South Rim. And this year I'll have 4 sunsets, 4 sunrises, 1 more day. North Rim, I only had 1 day. So I didn't hardly see North Rim at all. So this year I'll have also 4 sunrises, 4 sunsets at North Rim. So this year I'm going to be getting to know the Grand Canyon much more than I did 2 years ago. And so oh boy, all the points, all the different viewpoints that are popular. That's the South Rim. On the North Rim, you've got Bright Angel Point, you've got Point Imperial, Roosevelt Point, Walhalla Overlook, and Cape River. Not as many points there, but some really fantastic views. An hour before sunset, half hour after sunset too. Time after sunset can produce some of the strongest images. Don't let dinner get in the way. Carry snacks. Well, we might have a delivery. Prime delivery van just pulled up.
I think it's all right to go with you.
Yeah, you can leave with me.
So, here you go, box.
Thank you.
You have yourself a gift on that.
Yeah, you too. Well, it's saffron. Okay, that's something. That is a travel charger for the phone and the watch. And what else? This is an Anker fast charger. It's like 120 watt. And finally, USB at this end, but the other end has 3, count them, 3 USB-Cs. Oh yes. That's going to be very handy. I feel like Uncle Si, his iced tea. That's what a suspender's good for, huh? Keeping track of things. Yeah, Mather Point, largest, most developed overlook, also the best. Spectacular eastern views of monumental temples are silhouetted against the horizon. O'Neill Butte, is that what you say? Butte or Butte? I don't know what. Got an E on the end, so it must be Butte. O'Neill Butte, northeast of the overlook, catches red light before sunset. Poppy Point, real perspective. You know, the thing about Grand Canyon is, I mean, it's about 10 miles wide. There's a lot of part of the Grand Canyon nobody's ever seen, probably. I mean, I can't imagine who would go tracking into all those different areas. Research teams, you know, geology teams, archaeological teams. But there's a lot of that Grand Canyon nobody ever sees. The question arises, do I want a graduated filter for the DSLR? Yes. The answer is yes. Since I'm seeing not only Grand Canyon, but also Bryce Canyon and Moab, Arches National Park, and Canyonlands National Park. Yeah, so that I'll have the same amount of time this year to visit those 2 national parks over by Moab as I am spending for each of the rims of the Grand Canyon. Whereas last year, I basically had 1 day at Arches National Park. So this time, more than twice as much time there. So, looking forward to that. Why isn't it being fine? It should be solid. So this technology stuff is just going to be my undoing. I can't win over technology. So anything you're doing with these devices or these cameras, less and less we don't have control. It just, that thing ain't working. You see, that's just my point. You don't even know what isn't working. You've been using it for an hour. You think you have, you haven't. This is how it is. This is the way this world is now. And it's crazy. It's insane. Sometimes I just think I want to walk away from all technology. Just forget it. Just, well, my neighbor gave me something to think about. I'm going to wind this up and I'm going to go take a little constitutional walk.